In Chapter 7 of The Picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde offers a profound exploration of art, love, and self-discovery. This chapter is pivotal in the narrative, as it lays the foundation for the tragic unraveling of the relationship between Dorian Gray and Sybil Vane, serving as a catalyst for Dorian's descent into a life of hedonism and moral corruption. Through this, Wilde explores the complexities of the human condition, focusing on themes such as vanity, the transient nature of beauty, and the perils of superficiality. The chapter sets the stage for Dorian's confrontation with reality through Sybil's disastrous performance in Romeo and Juliet. As an audience comprised of Dorian, his friends Basil Hallward and Lord Henry, and the paying public eagerly anticipates her exemplary portrayal of Juliet, Sybil's performance comes across as hollow and disconnected. This event is particularly significant because it is the moment when Dorian's perception of Sybil shifts dramatically. Dorian had previously idealized her, enchanted by her portrayal of enchanting heroines, and swept away by the emotions those performances stirred within him. When Sybil declares that her love for Dorian has rendered her incapable of acting, the illusion shatters. This is a profound commentary by Wilde on the ephemeral nature of love when it is based on superficial traits rather than a deeper understanding and appreciation of another person's true self. This chapter also delves into the theme of self-discovery and identity. Dorian's reaction to Sybil's explanation is callous and devastating. He no longer sees her as the embodiment of his aesthetic ideals. For Dorian, his infatuation was never with Sybil herself, but rather with the art she embodied. Wilde illustrates how Dorian's narcissistic tendencies intensify as he expresses disdain for Sybil's humanity and emotional vulnerability. His declaration that he is no longer interested in her reveals his inability to see beyond the mask of artifice and engage with the authentic or flawed reality of another person. This marks the beginning of Dorian's inner transformation and numbing of his empathy, a shift that aligns with Lord Henry's hedonistic worldview and distances him further from Basil's artistic ideals. The chapter concludes with Dorian discovering a haunting change in the portrait that Basil painted of him. As Dorian gazes upon his likeness, he is struck by the faint but undeniable alteration in the expression on the portrait's face. It captures the cruelty and heartlessness he displayed towards Sybil, reflecting a subconscious awareness of his moral degradation. This supernatural element introduces a Gothic aspect to the story and serves as a symbolic representation of Dorian's soul bearing the consequence of his moral decay. The presence of this uncanny transformation in the portrait underlines the novel's warning about the dangers of living a life focused solely on beauty and pleasure, devoid of ethical consideration. In summary, Chapter 7 of The Picture of Dorian Gray is a turning point that examines the conflict between art and reality, the fragility of human relationships, and the destructive potential of living a life driven by vanity and aesthetic obsession. Dorian's loss of innocence through the disillusionment with Sybil Vane sets him on a path of increasing moral corruption, while the portrait serves as an enduring reminder of the consequences of his choices. Oscar Wilde, through dazzling prose and keen psychological insight, crafts a narrative that leaves an indelible impression on readers, encouraging reflection on the profound questions of identity, morality, and the essence of beauty. Before you click away, remember to join our Bookly community by hitting subscribe, and let me know in the comments which classic novel you'd like us to analyze next. Until next time.